You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
You're muted, Steve.
Good day and welcome to the Mushie Moment. What's going on?
I don't know. You're good. I'm not sure. We're having some technical difficulties. I think Steve is in BC. He's left for a minute, but he will be back. He was having some technical issues earlier. But thank you and welcome to the Mushie Moment for today, Tuesday, February 4th, 2025. Steve is just rebooting and he will be back on in just a second. Today is an exciting day. It is episode number 100 for us, which is really exciting. Steve is back on. He's just doing his thing. I should say the computers are doing their thing. Hello, Helen. Yeah, so show number 100 for Steve and I, and hopefully he will pop back on the show live here in just a second. There he is. How you doing, Steve?
Good. I'm so excited. My frequency is messing up how the computer's working.
That's exactly what's happening. Yes. Yeah. So it's our 100th show.
Yes, it is. I can't believe we're actually at a 100th podcast.
100.
That's pretty amazing. Thanks for making this happen.
Oh, thanks for wanting it to happen. You're the one that said, hey, when are we going to start our podcast? And 2 weeks later, we started our podcast. And now here we are at 100 podcasts.
Wow. Yep, that's pretty amazing. Almost as,
it is.
Almost as amazing as this show's going to be.
This show, we do have 4 guests actually on in the back. I'm super excited about all of them. All of them are very meaningful people to me, as well as Steve. But for me, these people brought positive change and impact into my life. A few years ago, as I've told this story many times before, I went and watched the movie Dosed, thinking I was going to go learn a little bit about microdosing some mushrooms and helping to fight my addiction cravings. And that movie led me to reaching out to Mark Howard in particular and having a conversation with him. After talking with Mark, I had a consultation with another iboga provider, and she directed me to reach out to Gareth, which I did. And in reaching out to Gareth, we decided to work together, and I headed out to British Columbia to go take this crazy medicine from Africa called iboga that I got to see in the movies. And I was going to go across the country and I was going to take it from some guy who ended up to be Gareth Moxie and his partner. And it was probably one of the most life-changing experiences I have ever had the honor of being part of. So I would like to share the trailer for Dosed. It's a movie that, honestly, if you can go find it, which is really easy to find, I highly suggest watching it. I was on the healing path before I saw it, but it is... that movie was that turning point for me. Are you there? Am I just taking over? I'm so sorry.
No, I think you should play the trailer because I'm
Okay.
just sitting here listening and just I know the story, and I just find it beautiful and amazing that we actually get to have them on the show right now as well.
Yeah. Okay. Let's play this trailer. I hit the wrong button. I'm going to do this. No, I want to do this. I'm playing with buttons here because I want to get the trailer up without us. There we go.
Do you think those people downtown grew up thinking that that's where they wanted to be? Do you think they want to be face down with their pants on the ground and like fucking needles sticking out of their arm? That's no way to live.
Like, my only friend is heroin.
Addicts tend to feel alone and depressed.
I'm surrounded a lot by the dark thoughts.
Magic mushrooms allow you to change your mind.
Psychedelics will be able to help with many mental health problems.
There's one that fucking nails it right home.
Opiate addiction is completely unbearable.
So sick of this.
God is not coming.
She has to go in and find out why she's an addict.
Memories will come up that they've never ever conscious of before.
I have a memory of going to this house.
She's reliving some moment over and over and over. Something happened in that house.
Teacher Ann, are you still with us? What's the best way to love yourself?
I don't know.
That's good. You know, you can look for that too tonight. Iboga goes deep to the root cause. Trigger posing. We ended up going to the hospital just to make sure that she was okay.
I should be dead from 20 milligrams. I didn't feel a fucking thing.
They didn't fucking give it to me. They were restraining me.
I'm still in withdrawals.
Make it stop.
If it was easy, it wouldn't work.
Is mommy okay?
Dad,
My father, that really hurt.
It's tango so much.
When it turns, it's just there.
That's Iboga. Trying to deal with it.
All of a sudden, that soul has a new set of eyes to look through.
Sometimes the scariest thing we choose to do is take the dose.
Wow.
Yeah, even I get emotional watching that.
Yeah. No, it
And
of course,
people like you, I've seen you change your life. I've seen your life change, and I've seen the medicine happen, and I've seen the growth and meeting others and watching the miracle that medicine can do. When it's done with reverence and gratitude and ceremony, with a person that's just looking for that moment of hope to change their life.
And that's, and there's a lot of psychedelics out there that can help people change their life. The focus of today's show is Iboga, four, but we've got a husband and wife team coming in from one company. So we've got three companies represented. You saw the three gentlemen of the companies in the trailer, Gareth and Mark and Patrick all appeared on film there. So I commend these folks for putting their face, in the movies and in this documentary, and other documentaries actually, and getting it out there, and teaching people that, there are tools, there are these beautiful tools out there that can help change your life and help you gain back control of your life and heal why. For me, it was healing why I became an addict in the first place.
And I want to say thank you for giving faces for people that are searching, for taking moral high ground over legal high ground. because, you know, these medicines are gray areas and fight areas, and people are struggling to get them so that they're out of those areas, and they're just the healing plant medicines they are. And it takes people putting faces, you know, and being on the forefront and making the movements change. And I just want to say thank you to these three for taking on that role, and at the same time changing lives for the better and helping people find their healing, helping people heal themselves. It's beautiful.
It is. And, you know, we you know, Steve was just saying that, you know, they're in the forefront in an area that's very gray, or actually very black, to be honest. A lot of illegalities. And we've been making the news. Like, I mean, you know, with this one is coming to us from Stanford, looked at it. Psychoactive medicine, let me change that word, ibogaine, is effectively treating traumatic brain injury in, you know, special ops military vets. You know, another one is coming to us from the Washington Post. Psychedelic medicine ibogaine hailed as healing. U.S. patients ask why it's illegal. Like, I mean, worldwide patients ask why it's illegal. Coming to us from the Rolling Stone, you know, he took a psychedelic to cure his addiction, and it was his last trip, meaning that that was his, you know, his last psychedelic trip, right? Like, I mean, yeah, so it's really, you know, and we have one more actually that we can bring up, coming to us from the BBC News. Can a hallucinogen from Africa, which is iboga, cure addiction? You know, with the right facilitators and the right work and the right desire within yourself to find that healing. Yeah, it can. Yeah. Have I been sentimental enough? Should we bring these people on?
Let's bring them on. Let's bring them on. Oh, I can't do the Bruce Buffer introduction for this though.
No. Well, I'm gonna bring them up in the order that I mentioned them, in the order that I talked to them and met them. So, ladies and gentlemen, from Iboga Soul, Mark Howard. From Inner Realms, Gareth Moxie. And from Soul Reflections, we have Patrick and Michelle Fishley. Hi, everybody.
Hey. Hi, everyone.
Wow.
Hi.
Welcome.
The introduction. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, well, you guys are very important to me. I found my healing through this movie, and through reaching out to Mark, then finding Gareth, and then, you know, having the most amazing nurse in the world, Patrick, to sit with gentlemen that we have as guests today. I found some incredible healing, and I can honestly say that without iboga, without this particular pathway, I probably wouldn't be here today. So I have found life, and I have found security, and it is beautiful.
It's amazing. And you deserve it, Cindy. You deserve it. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Everyone deserves it. Everyone deserves
it. Sure do.
Everyone deserves to have this insight, you know.
We just showed some headlines that are starting to make headlines in The Power Of. And and you guys have all been around for a while. You guys were obviously all ahead of the curve. You know, myself, I met you, Mark. Oh,
we lost him. He will be back. He was going to say that he met you a year and a half ago at the conference in Vancouver, 2.5 years ago, because it was the year before I was up. And you microdosed him. He tells the story often. You microdosed him with iboga.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, Gareth. Oh. I should be on. I hope I don't have trouble with my Wi-Fi. Is she happening yet?
We still got you. You're a little busy.
Yeah. I met my niece has been some of the oldest memories I have of Paris, like something like 12 or 13 years ago, at that conference. Cindy, one of the headlines you read was not a good one. I don't know if you realize it when.
Oh, and we lost him.
Yeah, he was talking about one of the headlines you.
Yeah.
It's actually a tragedy. The 49-year-old person.
Oh, is that? Oh, that was his last trip.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
But that's an important thing. There's a huge safety issue and factor around this medicine, and it's not because it's scary. It's not a bad medicine, but we have a wild component we throw in with this medicine. And it's called humanism. Mm-hmm. It's us. We're the wild card. And if we approach these medicines with reverence, with knowledge, with respect, and some experience and real safety, then it's just beautiful medicine. Mm-hmm. It's not a scary thing. I remember when you were laying in bed there at Garrett's there, I was sitting beside you and you had an amazing experience. You saw ancestors, you danced, and it was beautiful. And that's what it can be,
Yeah. It is as you reminded me, when you go into these medicines, I did a lot of work with these ancestors and with these spirits, and they were very good to me. They were very gentle with me, and once I had done the work, they gave me, they took me on wonderful sightseeing trips, which is really amazing. And I've told Gareth this story, but I haven't had the chance to tell you guys. That first iboga that I did, it was the handshake dose that I did with just Gareth. Gareth and I were in the house. Mm-hmm. And I started off downstairs, which I had to climb the stairs with iboga pulsing through me. That was hard. I don't recommend that to anybody. I should have started off, upstairs, but, I took the iboga and, Gareth said, you will feel heavy. You'll want to lay down. You're going to want to close your eyes. And that's when your spirit walk starts. And when I closed my eyes, it took me to flying over these most beautiful mountains, and they were very, very green and lustrous, and it was incredible. And then I ended up down in Mexico to do a practicum and graduate from the 5 course. And when I was there, I went down a couple of days early, and I hired a guide, and she took me around and showed me some beautiful scenery, and she took me to these pyramids, and she kept pushing me to get to the top of the pyramids. You have to see the scenery, Cindy. You have to see the scenery, Cindy. And I said, okay. So off I went. We finally get up there. It took a while because it was big pyramids. And she said, you're about to see the most beautiful, in my mind, the most beautiful scenery in all of Mexico. So we go up and we go around this corner, and it was literally where iboga took me to on the first, like when I closed my eyes and iboga took me on that spirit walk, and it took me to those mountains. I now know that iboga took me to Mexico. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it took me to Mexico. He showed me those mountains, and he told me that you are going to be meant to be here. Like, when you see this, you will know that this is something that you are meant to be doing. And when I came up and I came around and I saw it, I burst into tears. Of course, it was very emotional. And my guide, she came up to me. She was quite concerned. I told her that little bit of a story, and she put 2 flowers, and you can barely see mine, but I put one in my phone case and she put one in hers. And it was one of those things that, honestly, when I saw that, every horrible thing in my life that led me to that point, and every glorious thing in my life that led me to that point, showed me that I was supposed to walk the path that I was walking, and I was meant to be where I was at. And you folks helped me get there, and I am forever grateful. Yes.
Are you making some oil, Steve? Got some filter going or something?
Oh, sorry. Say that again.
There's like a machine sound someone's got in there.
Oh, I've got my generator running out. I'm low on power. I'm in my motorhome, and I've got my generator to keep some power going right now. Sorry, if it's irritating, I can stop it.
It's okay.
No, you know, like you guys, this is great to have us on. I really appreciate it. You know, you have like some really amazing like, you know, advancements and realizations in this field. I think everyone's kind of like, you know, as we grow, it's starting to get onto a lot of years, you know. And I really appreciate, like, you know, this division that we're understanding now, not division, but, you know, Gareth, I think you've been a really, such a positive figure in this movement, like with your steadfast groundedness with Ibogaine, you know, and its role, you know, and how we see it different, how I see it differently now, like, you know, from Dosed, you know, those are the days that kind of like, you know, I see it now, like, you know, I got introduced to this medicine that allowed me to see myself in a much different way than I was. And so I was able to transform my life, and, you know, I wanted to share it with everyone, you know, and so I went to Africa and I learned these things, and I come just rootin' tootin', and, and it's amazing. A lot of people get help like that. But as we're moving forward now into this tradition, you know, working with Patrick and Michelle so long, like they've really adapted into the Bwiti culture. But I just want to also throw out, like, now I realize, you know, it's not everything. You don't want to be like just molded into one thing. And I think, you know, when you're adapting these medicines to a westernized civilization like it is, there's a big interface that needs to come between in the way this is done. And I want to, you know, reach out to these two here, like, and Michelle, like the three of them, you know, how it's beginning to articulate really meticulously where we need to be. And like, if someone, for now, I'll explain to you guys, if someone contacts me and says, you know, I'll say, are you on a substance or not? Like, you know, because I don't know, maybe Gareth wants to elaborate on this more, but there's people need to get off substances in a very smart, methodical way, which I think Gareth's probably one of the best in the world. I know it's kind of a big thing to say, but
I agree.
It's not like, you know, like there's a lot of people doing it. But I mean, you know, Gareth's always had this approach where it's been very methodical, patient, and safe, you know, and that mixes so well with Michelle and Patrick. I had the honor of working with Patrick for a long time, right? He's taught me so much. So I just wanted to say that I've evolved a lot now. I'm working with this, and I'm really learning a lot about it, and I'm excited to have all of these panels on. So I just wanted to say that so we could get, you know, Gareth rocking and Patrick and Michelle.
And I'd like to say that one of the things that I really want to point out to break anybody's cognitive dissonance that they might have, we have 3 of 4, 5 of the best happening right here. And there's no competition being looked at. There's no competition in helping people heal. And some people kind of get in competitive mode and start looking at other people in the industry as competition. And I just want to show that this is the cognitive dissonance to prove that that is a wrong thought.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Healing isn't a competition. It's about helping and uniting and sharing the information, what you just said, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've been doing it a long time, but you've just shared that in the working with the people you have, the other knowledge that you've gained on the pathway and how it's made change in you. You know, that's what sharing it all is all about, and sharing in safe manners.
Mm-hmm. You know, that saying, it takes a village, right? You know, when we go to Africa and we talk with our elders and we have ceremonies, it's not just one healer there. You have healers come in from all over Gabon. They travel days to get there. It is a whole bunch of people, and together they lift people up, you know? And it's because this medicine is a community medicine. You know, it wants to be treated as such, and we should be working as such, because there's no competition. We're like a very traditional advanced care team, you know, where we can talk to each other. Not all of us have the answer, and to think we do, that's just foolish. But we have a great care team that we can talk to and reference to bring the best healing for the participant coming, because that's really what it's all about. It's person coming. It's all about them, not about what we know or what we can do. It's what can we offer them And, I talk with Gareth all the time. We talk with Mark all the time, and vice versa. We talk. And it's good. We throw things off, what's working, what's not working. And that's how you move forward. That's how we evolve.
Yeah. Thanks for those kind words, Mark. But like I'm standing on the shoulders of others. I mean, it's like Rocky and Claire and all of those people, Christopher, people that went before me, and then I learned from them. So it's just and that crowd of the old school in Ibogaine as well.
So what have you brought to them? Have you learned anything? Like, 'cause I know that they're the legends and they've been working and really, there's a lot of different approaches, but what have you learned anything, and maybe not surpassed them, but complemented or added on or enhanced maybe in your own work? You might want to mute for a second, Steve, until you say something, just because
okay.
I don't know about that. I think that we all have our slight little, the same with the 5-MeO thing. If anything, maybe I've influenced the aspect of bringing 5-MeO into treatment, because that's not something that they were doing. That's something that I've done, and then I see the benefits through that.
Yeah.
But really, and we all have our own little nuances on how we work. We're all kind of like getting somebody from point A to point B. We're roughly doing things in a similar kind of fashion. But then we have our own just little, ways of doing things, which kind of, I guess, probably occur through our isolation. It's good in the 5-MeO world how, there's some shadowing going on with other practitioners. So you shadow people, so then you can pick up on things, or, there might be better ways to do things. And Ibogaine's not really like that. We're all isolated off in our own little worlds, and then also that kind of goes, the people we see the most are clients. Or when I get down to the pool, I nod at some people in the hot tub, but that's about it. For the most part, we're kind of tucked away in isolation doing our work, because it is very isolating work. So I was just at a gathering of a Gita gathering in Tepoztlán in Mexico, and it was good to hear of different stuff that's going on and what have you, because we don't do it enough. Really, not in Ibogaine. The last time I did anything like that was Porto, in Portugal, in 2017 or something like that.
So what you're saying is there's a huge opening for somebody to put together a place for Ibogaine and Iboga practitioners to come together and.
Yes, and it needs to happen on more regularly. But again, people are kind of like, isolated in their work and stuff. Mark, you're off up there. Patrick and Michelle are off up there. It's not like we're all in Vancouver, and they get together and trade notes or anything like that. But we do chat a lot on the phone. So
yeah, which is good.
Yeah, we have a good support network. Like if something goes and this has happened lots in the past. I've called both you guys before, going like, look, this is going on, I don't sit there, oh my God, they're going to judge me, or I'll say it straight up, because I'm here to learn. This is so serious what we do, and that's become apparent over the years. And there's I'm sure there's ways that Gareth has learned to I know he takes a really, that's the thing, you have this money model, right? And that's where a lot of this competition comes in. And if you're not cured on your own soul level of not even competing against something else and making your soul upset, try to survive.
Oh, Mark, you did the thing. I don't know what you did.
Okay.
Sorry, my wife just. Yeah.
Hang on, Mark. We'll just go to commercial right now. We can get the tech stuff fixed up. You can do what you got to do, and we'll be back.
Am I talking? So,
yeah, you're talking.
It's my wife. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, we'll be right back. We're going to take a commercial break, fix some glitches, do what we got to do, and we'll see you guys right after the commercial break on paceradio.net and streaming everywhere.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, open Monday to Friday from 10 till 7 p.m. or by chance. Check out our flags, our t-shirts, plus our hats, and look of that supply of rolling papers, plus much more. We've got bongs and your favorite herbal vaporizers. Look at all the incense we have, as well as for those who collect knives, check out these knives in our collection. And while you're here, stop in to see Shay at the piercing room, where you can get poked by Shay. Daily deals, check them out. Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford, Ontario.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Re-rolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Are we back?
Are we back?
Are we live?
We're live.
Oh, I figured out the airplane. Now that's gonna block calls.
Gotcha. Yes, so welcome back to the Mushy moment. I think we've got some technical issues fixed. I was watching poor Steve in the back room there as I was, having a panic attack going, oh my God, what the frig is my partner doing? And
well, I couldn't see the ads. All I could see was us, and then it would glitch out, and then it would glitch out, and then the ad would come on, and then it would glitch out, and then I'd be gone, and I was like, what's going on? But here we are, and it's all good.
Well, so anyways, what I was just saying that at the end there, when I got, it's talking about Gareth, and I think how you've learned to take maybe a slower approach. Is that true?
Yeah. Well, I went to, there was the ibogaine Providers Conference in Vancouver in 2012, and Claire and Christopher did a workshop afterwards, and they showed us how to work with morphine and how ibogaine actually mix it. And a lot of people in the ibogaine world don't even know this. That there's this thing, oh, you can't mix ibogaine and morphine together. Well, actually, there is a way of doing that. And so, I learned how to do that at very first at that conference with the workshop afterwards. But I remember we didn't implement it right away. And then for some reason, I can't remember why we did. We did, and I think you remember that, Pat, don't you?
Because, oh yeah, I do.
going a certain way. And then we decided to do this thing where we'd drop people down a little bit for a few days beforehand. And it was almost like night and day.
Yeah.
Bam! That's the magic right there.
Going through treatment, we no longer had people with the flopping fish in the frying pan and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And
it's nicer. It's nicer on a participant. It's nicer on the participant coming in. But let me tell you, it's a lot also nice on the facilitator facilitating when things are slowed down too, because it's not that big rush and flip flop, right?
Yeah. It's just always been this way that that people would come into treatment centers, and it's evolved a lot since like Rocky. We were just talking about this at this little gathering. Rocky went and got his first treatment like 24 years ago or something or other. And that was in what used to be Crossroads, I think. And things have evolved and changed a lot. I mean, he went on to become a provider, seeing where areas were that, it could be improved on. And, it was Rocky, I think, that was first doing that, stepping people down. Once you've got a stable dose of morphine, the whole game has changed. We used to have heroin in the beginning, and a gram of heroin was about 400 milligrams of morphine. So even if somebody was doing a gram of dope a day, 400 milligrams of morphine, well, these days that's like nothing. Easy peasy. It's when we get people showing up on our door. Like we had a guy last year that was 1850 morphine. And what do you try and flood dose somebody out of that? And then we spoke to a guy that on the phone that was on 3,000 milligrams of Cadian plus a handful of Dilaudid and still using a little bit of street dope. So just trying to tackle something like that,
And when you look at the street dope now, you're not even just dealing with the down type stuff, because you've got the trank in there, you've got the benzos in there. You've just got this.
Exactly. And we're not. So it's changed the people that we work with a lot. And people call us up now that are on these, using street dope and meth and things like that. And I'm like, we really can't take that on. We used to years ago, but we don't do that anymore. And people would be better off being in a full medical facility and having a really good aftercare plan. People have always put too much emphasis on the Ibogaine, and normally if you go to any kind of like recovery, it's normally minimum of 30 days and usually 90 or longer, 6 months. So, people have had these like addictions for 10, 20 years, and they're like, oh, I'm going to go and do Ibogaine and not be a heroin addict. It's kind of, and getting off of opiates seems like a really good idea when you're on opiates. It's when you start coming off of them, it's which, and opiates are holding a lot of people together. It can be a real support for a lot of people that have experienced a lot of trauma, which is why I think that it's so difficult to, like when we see the extreme end of addiction in Canada, that's the downtown east side. And those people are probably the most traumatized.
And everyone's looking for a way to find relief, right? Everyone is reaching for medicine of some sort, and that's what they're doing when we're reaching for substances or behaviors or modifications that either help us escape or numb or get insightful or whatever it is, and we're looking for that. And the unfortunate thing is a lot of these substances that people are reaching for, they all have a small timeline where the benefits start running out and it starts affecting your health. And they're still needing it, so they might grab for even more and more and more, and that's where this addiction comes in, and it's really just being able to. That's why this show, the movie Dose, was so good, because it showed hope that there's something else you can reach for medicine. There's someone else you can reach for hope. It doesn't just have to be the beast. There is something else.
And I think too, it's incredible how much we don't really consider sometimes what an addiction is. An addiction is your support system. An addiction is your coping mechanism. Addiction is your personality. Addiction is your identity, right? Your friend base, who you hang out with. So when we ask people to give up a substance, we're not just asking them to give up the substance, or they're not just asking that of themselves. They're asking to give up their friends. They're asking to give up their social network. They're asking to give up their coping mechanisms. They're asking, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's so much deeper than just, stopping using cocaine or fentanyl or what. I mean, it's more. And so that's why it's complex. And people, and why it will never be just a one thing. It'll never be just, I went and did this one thing and it worked and now I'm cured forever, because it's everything in your life. It's a huge component of what you do. And so we have to support, or try to at least encourage people to have supports in more than one way. So how are you preparing? What are you going to do after? Like Gareth said, what are you going to do after?
Yes.
What kind of life do you want when you're done? When we're done here in this week or 2 weeks or month, then what? What's your plan? Who do you want to be? Yeah, so I think those are really important questions which don't always get, we're so busy. So much judgment is put in onto what they see as the end result, that they miss the person. And I think in our treatment of looking at people in addiction, why people are like, oh, in Vancouver it failed when we decriminalized narcotics or whatever, all these drugs. And we're like, of course it failed, because we just looked at one thing. We didn't look at a whole person.
It didn't truly fail, honestly.
No.
As a person that has a couple of daughters that are hardcore fentanyl addicts, last year they were on the downtown east side. This year they're in Surrey. There's a narrative that it failed, but if you search headlines for 2024, you'll read the headlines that say that it has dropped. It has dropped. Deaths have dropped. Deaths have dropped. We're also a mecca where people come to because it's nicer here. So we get an influx of people in there. The big parts of it fail.
Yeah.
Because of the way it was put out.
Of course.
But what we did get, which wasn't failure, was we got a lot of data that says it needs to change, and we can see where a lot of the change needs to be. But to just say it's a failure and it was this and it was the most, well, no, you put a lot of, I believe in safe supply.
Yeah.
I agree that safe supply saves lives. But I don't think that you should be able to walk in, put your hand on a machine, get your Dilaudid, walk outside, sell it to somebody, and go buy the fentanyl that works because the Dilaudid didn't, and you really don't even have anybody to talk to. And there's nobody there to discuss recovery or to give any compassion or we took away money from recovery beds and put it into crack pipes and it's like it wasn't done correctly, but we did get a lot of information. Lives were saved.
And here's the thing, Steve, like if somebody does go and get a Dilaudid, go outside and sell it, and then go get a hit of fentanyl, that possibly could have been two people getting a hit of fentanyl, but somebody had the option of getting a Dilaudid.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So, like, I'd say.
Oh, thank you for that other viewpoint. That's pretty
the
nice.
more that we can get stuff out on the streets, and like I was speaking to a doctor one day about Dilaudid, and I said, the price of Dilaudid's gone down, and he's gone, that's because I'm prescribing so much of it. And I go, well, that's a good thing, because that means that there's a lot of safer narcotics on the street. And actually, I think it's a pretty small percentage of people that are the hardcore that are shooting fentanyl on safe supply. There's an awful lot of people on safe supply that are surviving by that. And then there's also people that buy safe supply. I have a lot of clients that don't want to get on the medical records because of all the stigma and stuff. And so they're surviving on safe supply that they're buying off of the street. Otherwise, they're addicted to opiates. If they weren't able to get that, then they'd be using street dope. Because that happens if you don't.
Thank you for that, because that puts a little piece in that allows me a little more compassion where I wasn't seeing it. Thank you. That's beautiful.
And then also they're all up in arms about decriminalizing drugs. Well, what they didn't like was seeing people using drugs on the street. Well, give them a fucking home then. If they live in a fucking tent, of course they're going to use the drugs on the street. I would anyhow, just as a big finger to the society that's stigmatizing me. And do you know what I mean? Fuck them. So I understand why people get so mad down in the downtown east side. They're dealing with a health problem.
Yeah.
It's dealt with in a criminal way.
Yeah.
It just sucks. And it shows what the drug war is about, really, in a lot of respects. We wouldn't be in this situation had we had heroin clinics downtown, heroin dispensaries downtown, because people didn't want the fentanyl. It's got a very short half-life. They had no choice. If you're addicted to opiates, you have no choice. Now, nobody wanted to start shooting dope with benzos in it, but they don't have any choice, There's very few people that know where to get clean fentanyl, do you know what I mean? And so,
yeah.
Sorry, my little rant there about
that's
what's
on. Needed.
And that's the thing. People don't give a shit if drugs are decriminalized. They just don't want to see people using them on the street.
I know.
And that's our homeless population. So
Yeah. And I think it speaks to the bigger issue, of what people are going through. That it's never the drugs are never the issue.
I love how Gabor put it. Drugs are the solution being used for the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. We had a lady here, really what she was trying to manage a lot of the time was her ADHD. I mean, really that was sort of the beginning, is loneliness, feeling disconnected and not and alone, and ADHD. And so there's a reason why people start using. It's not, it's not because they want to be where they end up.
They just want to feel normal like everybody else. Really, it's a way of kind of stabilizing their own nervous systems.
Yeah.
It's a way of not feeling defeated all the time or beat up all the time. It's, Yeah.
You're quiet, Mark. What's going on?
None. I'm listening to everybody. This is my new skill I practice.
He looks cold.
Listening. No, it makes sense. I listened to Joe Walsh talking to Sammy Hagar. I think it was like yesterday. It was amazing. He was talking about addiction. He goes, it's about, what, did you hear that one?
Yeah.
I haven't. No. What did he say?
Just one part he said was really cool. He goes, it's working for you. You do it because it's working for you, and then you start working for it. It's like, I was like, yeah, no doubt. So like, I'm kind of thinking this question, like, when are you going to start working for yourself? Right. And that's, the underlying tones of everything here. I mean, really what I've narrowed this down to from my own personal practice at this point is like, what's underneath the breakthrough, because, that's what I want to really focus on, even making, what we do accessible to people who are never even going to use iboga or ibogaine. We get a lot of these people, right? Or they might want to use mushrooms, or they might want to, cannabis. I mean, cannabis is a big healer too. So what is underneath? Like, is it only restricted to those who do ibogaine and iboga? Are you going to get this, like, No, it's just another thing AI told me is that iboga is not a drug; it's a teacher, which I knew, and it's just good to have AI remind me. What is it teaching you? It's teaching you how to work for yourself. Because ultimately underneath every spiritual practice, the ultimate thing underneath every breakthrough that we're looking for is this connection with ourselves, right? Like just, feeling like one and not, so we have to start working for ourselves like that. So a big part of my therapy lately has been, I've created this system I'm called Soul Amazing. It's amazing. So it's the art of soul guided life navigation, where I start to track people like over weeks or months. And we can begin to look at the belief systems that are responsible for the choices that take them off the path to their ultimate goal, which is just in the moment anyways. And I find it really working a lot, like, to really start helping people even to look at, like open up the weeds a little bit and like, holy shit, you get these really heavy addictions down the streets like that. Like these are gnarly things, These are really like, and a lot of times, you know, like, especially working with them, I saw back in the past is that you're working with some real demonic forces that have overtaken these people. You know, call it negative energy, call it a bad mood, call it whatever you want, call it a bad choice, addiction. Like, there's no difference sometimes between someone who is an asshole all day long than someone who's on fentanyl. They both have an addictive problem making a choice. It's just one is not so detrimental to the body. So I just wanted to throw that in there. That's kind of where I'm at, and I'm seeing a lot of, like, you know, with Patrick teaching me so much about, you know, safety and the medical aspects, him and Michelle, like, with this, and really learning a lot from Gareth about, you know, taking the emergency out of this, slowing it down, you know. And I stopped doing addictions because that's an art that needed, you know, I would love to do it, and I know about it, and I could probably do it, but it's definitely an art form. And I start working with more of, like, you know, because what you saw with Adrienne in the movie, this is a combination of all of us, you know, like, you know, you won't see that anymore from anyone, because I back in the day was bombing people and trying to take them off without putting them back on. So I don't know, for those really listening to this, what Gareth is saying is that when they discovered, like, you can balance out the opiate. So you can take a bite out of the addiction, let them get to a certain balance, then take another bite out of the addiction. Whereas I was taught to, like, just blow them off of it. And, you know, so what you see with Adrienne was extremely sort of difficult, and I would even say risky in today's world, for sure. It's not something I would do again. But she's still sober, you know, and it was effective because we get right underneath. And, you know, so what I like to say now is, like, I let Gareth do his thing, you know, like, really spend that time professionally working with someone to get them off of that physical addiction, you know, get that part out. And then as Patrick's kind of got his feet in both worlds. And then, you know, where I deal with people that are sober, and I really get underneath the, you know, the underlying issues that are, you know, just keeping them from not, like, you know, why are you self-sabotaging? Why are you feeling frustrated? Why are you angry? Why are you anything negative? Like, the whole goal, I think there's this thing called, I saw yesterday in Thailand or in Tibet, and it's called, like, these monks who can, like, transform into the rainbow. It's called the rainbow something, but they can, like, basically meditate themselves into the rainbow body, where they shrink up and they just become super positive energy, and they have to be, like, positive. They can't have a negative thought for, like, 7 years or something. So the more I go on, I want to also say one more thing is, like, what Gareth is also doing, and when he talked about introducing the 5-MeO, I think it's something that should be brought up here. I can't deny what I have seen now and what I've experienced in myself. This is a real thing. This is, like, a thing. I'm learning how to give it space with how I work. You know, there's been no Bwiki shamans that I know have been sent on a 5-MeO trip yet. I don't know. Probably happen. It's going to happen. Who knows? But they're not going to be able to, like, I literally, you know, just realized I'm in heaven, and, you know, it's all good. You know, act according is basically what happens. Act accordingly. So, you know, it's such a new thing coming in, where there's such a good balance, where, especially with what Garrett's doing, where sometimes the struggle is really difficult. The first thing that people sometimes care about is just getting through the withdrawal. It's the most insane thing you can see anybody go through. It's like all of their fears wrapped into the moment, like every moment facing moment. So to have that bit of a breakthrough, Gareth, which I think you're learning to really navigate and have that, like, connection to something so powerful in a very, like, I don't know, Iboga does the same thing, but it's spread out, you know, spread out in a different way. And they work really well together. Maybe someone over there could comment. I don't know, like, Patrick and Michelle, like, if you guys are really, so my wife did it. Okay. Robin, I love her. She did it, and then you can't stop her now. She's, like, been shadowing people like Garrison talking about and stuff like that. And I've seen some incredible results. So maybe I'd like to hear what we have about this, because I think it's a real part of this that is, you know, it's obviously not going to stop. It's going to be another thing that we're going to have to learn how to sort of integrate.
If I can jump in, one of the things that I've found, because I've done a bunch of the various substances, I haven't done Iboga, but what I have found is they all speak different languages in connection to the energy, the God force, the universe, whatever you wish to call that experience. But they all have different languages. And depending on the traumas, the length of traumas, how many years you've been through, the patterns you've put in place, I find that each experience for me every trauma, I put a shield up. This should stop it. Then another one happens. So I put another shield up. And then after, 60 years, you're buried in shields. And each of the communications enables me to understand why I need to remove some shields.
Mm-hmm.
And
Have you ever put yourself up as a shield?
What do you mean?
I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just like, this is a good point to point out. Like, have you ever put yourself up as a shield?
Yes. Oh, yes. 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 As in, you see something happening and you put yourself in to block that pathway of whatever it is that's going to hurt somebody else.
Or hurt yourself. Like, have you ever like reached for yourself instead of reaching for something else? Even a plant medicine, like, when you were talking about the traumas and you use things to shield it. Have you ever connected with your soul to shield the trauma? You don't even shield it. You just doesn't bother. It affects you.
I'm learning that. That's as I've taken shields off. That's what I'm learning. I'm learning that, the medicines teach me vibrations or frequencies that allow these to not resonate or hold me down. And I'm supposed to learn the frequencies that they're teaching me so I can resonate that from my heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's with this tradition that's behind Iboga and that the Bwiti, it's about the study of life, right? Study of your life, my life, etc. And when we're always looking outside of ourselves to find love or to help or to shield or whatever. We can obtain that a bit, but it can always be taken away from us. We reach into ourselves, connect with our soul, and use ourselves as our shield or as our factor of making love happen or happiness. People can't take that away. So that comes down to studying ourselves, really making a conscious effort to connect. Because as we stand with ourselves, no one can destroy that.
Oh, I hear what you were saying. I get it. Using myself as a shield as in holding my space of love and honor that can't be taken away from me. I can only give them or share them, holding that space and not letting the negative hit or break or be traumatic.
Yeah. It doesn't matter where you are in your life, in your journey. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is, if you look deep inside, you're enough. Each and every one here is enough. When I met Cindy, at Garris, I looked at her and went, oh, she's going to do okay. She's enough. And she was enough. But it's getting rid of all that bullshit, looking and connecting with self, your soul, and you go, whoa, I'm enough. And I'm a superpower. And we need to tap into more of that.
Yeah. Natural abundance.
Natural abundance.
Yeah, quickly, like, what are you saying to your soul if you're competing?
You're trying to win if you compete.
I'm not enough.
But what are you saying to your soul if you're competing? It's just this simple thing, right?
Oh, not enough.
So what are you saying to your soul if you're shielding with other things?
I'm not enough.
So what is the whole life about the return to self-love? Like, and that's the experience, right? Mm-hmm. You'll be up for Iboga. I begin soon enough here. Don't worry. We're getting there.
I think he needs a triple dose, Mark.
Well, and then I was talking to Garrett and how he does the 5-MeO is amazing too.
We should all get there.
Like, with Garrett, like when you were talking about going and learning about it for a while and how you like take people on a bit and then you're like, and then we vaporize. It's like, now I've seen some of these different states it'd be interesting in hearing what you're learning and how that is and reflective of this conversation we're having when it comes to self-love and soul.
Before we get into Garrett talking about what he's learning.
Yep.
Let's do it right after this quick station break so we can have the sponsors come on and pay for us to be able to chat some more.
We'll be right back.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor? If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
And we're back live here on paceradio.net on the Mushie Moment. Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back. So we, Millie, hi baby girl.
On the podcast.
Yeah. So cute. So we had just posed a question to Gareth, Mark had, about what are you learning in the 5 realm?
Oh, right. Well, I've been working with 5-MeO professionally for like 8 or 9 years. When we started Inner Realms, we were doing just a little bit of it at Liberty Root, but not really. And then I picked it up at when we started Inner Realms, and then I have a mentor who I learned how to work with 5-MeO from, and her mentor was Ralph Metzner. So I kind of come from that Metzner lineage, and all of the stuff we were doing in the early years was all insufflated. You know, it was intranasal. Which is a much slower onset of working with that medicine. And then after a while, we got hold of some freebase. Freebase came up on, like, you can smoke HCl, but it's kind of gnarly and messy. And back then we were doing it in bubbler pipes, meth pipes, which is a little icky as well, So things have evolved quite a bit. We started, then once we got freebase, I got turned on to using the micro mesh screens for bubble hash. So then no fluid will drop through those. And then we heat from above, which is a much better way of doing it. Then when we were using the old bubblers, when you heat it from the bottom, the 5-MeO would go up around the sides of the bowl. So it'd be very difficult to get to hit it right and everything. It was hard. But then we switched to the screens and then heating from above, and quite quickly, I learned how to administer in a certain way. We have little measuring spoons that are 3 milligrams when they are level. And that's kind of where 5-MeO starts when you are vaporizing, or like 2, like that, you know. And so often I will get a sense of how sensitive somebody is in that first dose. Or if somebody's particularly nervous about working with the medicine, then I'll start with insufflation, which is a much gentler way of moving into that space. And also provides quite a different experience. It's a much more somatic experience. People really feel into their bodies. So, you know, I was working with it quite a bit just at the end of treatments. And then slowly but surely, you know, it was all N-DMT. That was the one Joe Rogan was going on about it and everything, you know, which is the type of DMT that's in ayahuasca. Which is, you know, you're still an observer when you're working with the NN-DMT. All of the psychedelics work on the 5-HT2A receptor, and they're partial agonists. 5-MeO-DMT is a full agonist on the 5-HT1A receptor, so it makes a very different experience. The deeper you go in with that medicine, the less egoic structure there is. You know, the default mode network is radically altered to the point of non-existence when people reach that state of non-duality, which is easier to do when you're vaporizing. So anyhow, I had done, there've been some trainings happening over the years, but not much open to people that weren't nurses, clergy, or something rather, therapists. And then so synthesis, which was the psilocybin one, came up, and I was like, well, this seems very credible. I really feel as if I should do this. I have a certain, you know, want for knowledge. And so I did that course, which was pretty expensive, and it was all while COVID was going on. And it was a good course. I really enjoyed it. But then when the 5-MeO course came up, like a year later or something like that, or months later, I was like, and a friend, an old client of mine actually, who's a therapist, had signed up for the training, and I'm like, I can't miss this one. You know, we'd invested a lot in synthesis, but this is much more my medicine than psilocybin. You know, 5-MeO is my medicine, that and ibogaine, but for my personal choice, 5-MeO is the one that gets everything done that I need to get done. And so when this training came up, I just felt that it was a good investment in working with that medicine, an investment in inner realms to go and do that. And, you know, 5-MeO is a lot more popular now than it was 10 years ago. It's kind of the new kid on the block. But at the same time, there's a lot of considerations working with a medicine like that. And so, you know, it's not psilocybin. It's not. And so I would encourage anybody that really wants to work with it, like Cindy. You know, Cindy went and did the course herself as well. And I'm encouraging other friends and clients that we've worked with before to go and do that course. You know, the more people that we can get trained properly out there working with that medicine, the better. And there's a lot of different ways of working with the pure molecule. I don't like to work with bufo. Never worked with bufo. Pretty sure the toads are not fucking into humans, chasing them down for their enlightenment. You know what I mean? It's their defense mechanism. So, and especially when we have an alternative, why would we even fucking use bufo? So, and then people like the hippies get, oh, it's got to be natural. Bullshit. Anyhow, so, well, the pure molecule is a much safer one to be working with, and you know exactly how much you're giving somebody when you're giving them the pure molecule. Bufo, the 5-MeO content varies from toad to toad, when they were last fed. You know, there's so many variations that go into that. So you can be much more precise in. Anyhow, I learned a lot through that training. I really did. as very trauma informed and everything, and then also understanding what possibly can happen with this medicine. We went over a lot of case studies and stuff of people that should not have taken it. You know, it should never have been served to them. And so I think working with this medicine, if you can do the proper preparation with people and try to get them to understand where they might be going, that's very difficult as well, because people will come out of that experience and say, well, I had no idea it was going to be like that, you know. And that's how expansive it can be, you know. So it does need some special attention when working with people with that medicine. But I find it so useful, especially when working with people in addiction, because, you know, people have often just been berating themselves for the last 15, 10, 20 years or whatever, you know, and it's the first opportunity to really experience some self-love. And I find it to be a very important part of the equation in working with people in addiction, and also in psycho-spiritual work as well, because there's a lot of neuroplasticity and malleability with the brain afterwards, especially with 5-MeO as well. So it's easier for people to go out and make positive change, and especially if they've managed to change that narrative that they've been speaking to themselves for so long, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I learned a lot during that course, and I encourage anybody who wants to work that medicine to go and do that course with those guys, because they brought people in that have been working with that medicine for years and years, you know. So it was really a good course. So that's what I got to say about my learnings with 5-MeO and that important medicine. Thank you.
Well, as a person that had you facilitate a 5-MeO journey for me, I have to say that was my first experience with the insufflation, and before going in, and that whole experience was a beautiful and healing experience.
Yeah, it's a slower onset and moving through. You know, the vaporizing can be. And the insufflation is quite a bit different. There's a very interesting interview with Ralph Metzner with Martin Bull on YouTube, and it's like an hour and a half long. It's a really interesting interview, and it's them discussing the differences between the two approaches of working with 5-MeO on YouTube. When
I did take the course. I was in the second cohort of the course, and we also did suppositories when we were there, which was a very similar onset to the insufflation. You know, we were told we all did 17 milligrams, and we were told that they've never had anybody full release off 17 milligrams, and then they had me, and they can't say that anymore because I had an incredible full release off the suppository.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Range, apparently.
And that was long as well. It's normally about an hour long from start to finish.
Yeah, my full release on the suppository, we took the suppository at 8:30 in the morning. I was still feeling the medicine at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can really rock some people sometimes, and also the setting. Like I had a session there where I was doing a lot of deep breathing and sighing for hours afterwards, you know. And we had a guy as well that did a full release early in the morning. He was kind of coming out of it late afternoon, you know. He was just rolling away.
Well, it makes such an energy shift that and once that energy shifts, and it just seems to keep making little shifts.
Yeah.
You know, and then reactivation aspects.
Yeah, it can be a steady opening for people that can go on for ages. Like it's a very relatively short experience compared to other psychedelics, but it's a gift that can keep on giving as well.
Yeah, just quickly, I think Iboga offers a really good spiritual structure within the body. Like it's a little slower. Do you know what I mean? You kind of like with Bufo, you access that and then it's gone. It's a really good experience too. But I love the way the Iboga really works to help sculpt yourself into, and and I find I don't know if this is true. I know Patrick or Michelle will be able to answer. It's like Garrett, just quickly, I'm not taking over this interview. Like, are you finding that people are having more sort of positive results after Iboga? Because we are finding that.
In what way? Like positive results?
Well, like some people who have done, like, say, 5-MeO or Bufo many times, and then they do Iboga, do a bunch of work, and then they do the Bufo, they find it a lot different in a positive way.
I mean, Garrett probably knows more than we do because he works with it with Iboga.
Yeah.
Patrick and I don't use the 5-MeO after Iboga because I feel like we don't have the time.
Yeah.
I feel like you need more. We would need more time at the end to experience that, and I think it would be good for those people that don't get deep into the spiritual when so much of their work has been physical and mental.
Yeah.
And I think Iboga holds no bars there. Iboga's like, no, you don't get to go play in the spirit realm when your mind is getting in the way of everything. You know what I mean? Or when you so badly need that physical detox that's all we're working on tonight is your body. And Iboga is unapologetic in that way. It is not.
I can see how it would do it. It would, because if the Iboga breaks down a lot of those shields, then the next experience you have with 5, you have the ability to hear quieter language, softer vibration, and more of the love factor that comes out, more of the me, universal love, we're all one. You can hear that the more those shields come off. Yeah. And I think the reason I've been scared of Iboga is because Iboga seems to kick a lot of the shields off in a real hurry. And I've slowed.
Yeah, but it gives you yours back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be the shield, Steve. Come on, let's come on over.
Steve. I want to ask you a question, Steve.
Oh no, Steve.
What is fear, Steve?
You know what?
Fear
is not a universal energy, but it is an energy, and it's an energy created in the brain, and it takes the same brain that creates it to let it go.
Right. And so is fear. Is fear
Doesn't
real?
mean I can stop it sometimes.
Well, not with an attitude like that.
I'm gonna have you up for a night of Iboga or something. It sounds like.
Fear is important. It stops us from doing stupid things.
Well, it can serve us.
It does.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah.
But when the fear that stops us, it's more of a healthy concern.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree.
In a comment to like what in response to what Mark was saying about Iboga before 5 can make a difference. I have to agree with that. I have done one of the other medicines I've run off and done before 5 was combo, and it's an extreme body detox. And I find that I have found when I have done Iboga or Ibogaine that I do get a detox in the body, and therefore it sets the stage for the 5. It doesn't have to fight through all of those toxins and all of that bullshit, because you've now not just mentally and emotionally and spiritually cleaned them away, but you have physically cleaned them away from stopping the 5 from really getting in there and doing some pretty heavy duty work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't normally when I'm giving somebody Ibogaine and 5-MeO, that's the first time they're doing both of them, and very seldom do we work with people like we have. Do you know what I mean? Some of our Ibogaine people come back and do 5-MeO, but often that can be different on the day depending on what they went through last week or whatever. So it's difficult to kind of tell. But like Cindy was saying, both combo and Ibogaine will clean off those receptor sites. Do you know what I mean? So you're primed for sensitivity to medicine, and which is why I find it so effective when I work with people. When I work with 5-MeO after an Ibogaine treatment. It's kind of like the icing on the cake. And I've had like this one girl in particular, Patrick. I I don't know if you did work with her actually, but she was from Kelowna, and she'd been involved in sex trade and gang stuff and everything like that. And I gave her 5-MeO, and she bawled like a little girl. And she said it was the first time she'd done that in over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it was we hadn't quite got there with the Iboga, but the combination of the two, do you know what I mean? And that made a huge difference into how she felt when she walked out of our place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what I'm interested in is you know, I know it's not really traditional what we do and everything, but then traditions change.
What is tradition, though? Traditions are branches. I mean, we experience this even with the deepest tradition. There's branches that, like, there's definitely a different need from the west to the east here.
Well, it's becoming a different tradition. You know, like when I went and trained with Ibogaine in Mexico, they had just started doing it at Crossroads. They were using Buco, and they had only just started, you know, and I was like, what's this? And then they're like, oh, it's 5-MeO, which I'd known about because I experienced it when I lived in California, but it was very rare and like really didn't. And then I was curious, so why are they using this then? And he was saying like they're getting really good results.
Exactly.
And that's all I'm interested in.
Yeah. What about
in a better place when they leave my place? Well, of course I'll throw that into the mix.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's great answers. I don't think there's much time left, but I'm just interested in well, I don't know, Patrick, you guys run the last of it. I'm just going to ask about cannabis. I'm just interested in the it's more for Garrett. Do you use the cannabis with Ibogaine for people?
It depends. Sometimes if people are cannabis users, but and it can help a little bit with sleep, but pretty sparingly, really. And most of the people that a lot of the people that sometimes people reconnect with cannabis with us, and you know, because they used to have a connection with cannabis, and then, you know, once the heroin came in or fentanyl or whatever, it normally, you know, goes out the window. And often, because when people smoke a little bit of cannabis, it's plant medicine, they're always like, oh fuck, I'm a heroin addict, so they don't want to smoke cannabis, you know. So some people have a reconnection with it, and it can be very useful for treatment.
Yes.
If I need to get somebody to sleep or chill out a bit, you know. So, but it depends. And again, because the Ibogaine really cleans off receptor sites, don't need to use very much. And
we've used like CBD, especially. We find with Iboga, like THC can reignite people, and we don't want that on, like, say, like the last night, like, you know, when we want them to sleep on discovery night, and sleep is really important that night. We want them to sleep, and if we give them the THC, we've just seen in the past people just get right back into like visions. And
they'll use it.
But CBD works nice.
That's common nervous system.
Yeah, I found out that they use it traditionally, like the Babongos smoke it, and I found out they actually use it in ceremonies with Iboga sometimes, because they say it's a curious questioning medicine. So sometimes, because Iboga is very answering, so sometimes they'll use it to ignite that question and answer. They'll use it like but not smoking. They use like resin, whatever oil, like make, like, you know, the oil from it.
Yeah. You take it.
You thought I was making it at the beginning.
I thought you were making some Phoenix Cheers here in the beginning of the show.
But were they called Babongo?
Yeah, like the original. Yeah,
pygmy, right? I think they use quite a bit of cannabis. I was just watching.
They did.
Yeah, and they do at the moment. They're the ones that sell. If you need cannabis, you go to the pygmy.
I don't think it's like super like we're gonna get here in the dispensaries, but I mean, I've been to Mexico, and then sometimes I've tried some of the really, like, you wouldn't think it's very good, and all of a sudden you're ripped. It's like, wow, okay. It works, but I love the medicine. It's just, I've been like learning a lot how to, again, balance all of these medicines together. I think it's a great conversation we're having, because we really have, you know, balancing safety. When does someone should go to Garrett to get stepped down off an addiction? When should they use Bupo? When should they use the combo, 5-MeO? Like, it's all this very consensus, aware, you know, how do we get back to us, Steve? You come up the road, Highway 99. We're waiting for you. Minus 15. I'm ready. I got ceremony tomorrow. I actually, exciting. I'll keep these all in my minds and hearts.
Michelle, I just wanted to add in CBD is amazing. And you're talking about helping people with sleep. Yeah. If you can find a cannabis with high CBN,
okay,
help them knock it.
Or a tincture or oil with high CBN.
Yeah, CBN is the sleep cannabinoid. Yeah.
Can you send me that message? Can you send that onto my message on Messenger?
Yeah. I will.
CBN. Any last, like Patrick and Michelle? I mean, I know you guys have been doing a lot of work in Africa, working with your teachers there. Probably share some cool stuff there.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're heading back again this year. We have a group going with us, and we just keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper, learning more about the medicine, learning more about the other medicines that support it in the jungle, because it's. I mean, they don't just use iboga there. I mean, they use the whole forest, to help with it, and they mix things, and so it's really learning, to trust the medicine. Really learning to trust the medicine. A lot of the initiations, you just have to go, okay, I'm trusting, and it's important, right? Yeah. Learn more about ourselves.
And that's it, to learn more about ourselves. And I think that's what we're all here to do. It's just to learn more about ourselves and to grow. And that's what I love about all these three guys and Cindy and Steve. You guys, are beautiful people. You're just beautiful people. And working with plant medicine has connected us to beautiful people. And what a gift. And I said that the other night when we went out to dinner with our guests. When would I be sitting and having a dinner with somebody from Germany?
Yeah. Is this a mushy moment?
It's a very mushy moment, yes.
Very mushy.
Is this what you call a mushy moment right now?
It's a very mushy moment.
Moment.
It is.
It's bringing in the feminine.
Oh.
Bring it.
Which I'd like to say, actually, you guys are good at, is bringing in that.
Just had a baby girl.
Side. Yeah, Mark, you don't have a choice now. The feminine.
Yeah. She turned 4 months yesterday. We named her Love. If you guys don't know, we had a baby girl.
And she's
I met her at the conference in November.
Oh, did you? Oh, that's
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that
that's
conference
right.
You weren't at.
No, I know. Where was I?
I see you there, Mark. You were sick and your mom was in town.
Yeah, weren't we all on a call or something back then or something? What was happening back then? I seem to remember being on some.
Did I get locked off?
Was another thing. It was
You're there.
It was a WhatsApp group that we were chatting. The three of us were chatting in it.
Anyways.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
You're there. Can you hear us?
He wasn't wearing his headphones. Now he can.
Oh, I always say when technology goes, it's the spirits playing with us.
Yeah. Playing games.
Well, we are at that time.
Yeah.
So I should probably say thank you to everybody. And thank you for honoring us with this for our 100th episode. I can't believe we had 100. I can't wait for the 200th episode. And wow, all I have is thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
It's so great to get back in the same room with all these people again.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
And
We're so happy it was here on the Mushy Moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having us here. And
oh, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate you guys.
Thank you. We
appreciate it one more time.
I'm back.
I'm back. Having time to go.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Are we? Where am I? I got another call. I thought I had blocked.
Thank you.
Okay. We're just gonna run the ending and whatnot. But if you can hang out for a little bit of after, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Okay, I got 7% left on the phone. I'm in deep. Let's do it.
Okay. We will see everybody next week. Thank you so much for joining us today here on the Mushy Moment.
Thank you for having us.
Cheers.
Oh yeah, sorry. Thanks. I was having fun.
I thought she was talking to us. I was like, what are we doing next week?
Talking to everybody. Hi, folks.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more. We've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at Pace Radio.